Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Osetale, and on today's tutorial video I'm going to be using this fabric to share with you guys how to cut a princess dart bustier and as well how to join it after cutting. You can see I have my fabric folded into two. You see, I folded it into two, and it is the bust measurement divided by 4 plus extra 5 inches, which is going to be for all the sewing allowances. So that's what I have here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to come to this end here, and I'll take the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch sewing allowance. I'm going to take the same thing on this end. I'm going to connect the dots. So guys, after doing this, I'll just come down here by 1 inch, which I'm going to use to create the shoulder slope. Now after doing this, I'm going to start taking all the body measurements. So I'm going to place my tape here, and I'll measure the bust point, which is 9.5 inches, take it to the under bust, which is 13.5 inches, and I'll take it to the half length, which is 16 inches. Now I'm going to roll all the lines. I'm going to come here and I will measure down about 1 inch, which is going to be for the sewing allowance. We cut this the bust points, the under bust, and the waistline. Now I'm going to come to this line and come down by 8 inches. I'm coming down by 8 inches because the person is a little bit busty. If you were to be someone who is not so busty, you come down by 7 inches. Now after doing that, you are going to come to the bust point here, and I will take your bust pan measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch sewing allowance. You're going to take the same thing on the waistline, and you're going to roll the lines. Now the next step is for me to come to the under bust here, and I will be going out by about 2 inches. I'm going out by 2 inches because I said earlier the busting is a little bit busty. If you are to be someone who is not so busty, you will go out by 1.5 inches here. So I'll go out by 2 inches, and I will measure the same thing on the waistline, and I'll come in here by ½ inch and go in by ½ inch here too. Now I'm going to connect all the dots. After doing this, guys, I'm going to come to the bust point and go down by 1.5 inches. Then with the help of the curve ruler, I'm going to create a curve to meet that 1.5 inches that we brought down. You see, guys, so after doing this, you're going to use a straight ruler to connect from this point to meet the 1.5 as well. You just make sure that the curve is really curvy, there is no sharp edge, so you curve it very well. So guys, this is what we have. You can see it vividly, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do now is to come to the chest line and take the bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to come to this line and take the midpoint of it. It is 8 inches, so the midpoint is 4 inches. So I'm going to take it and I'll go in by ½ inch. Then I'm going to use the curve ruler to create the armhole. You see, guys, see what we have here. Now after doing this, I'm going to measure what I have in this armhole, and whatever I have there, I'm going to divide it by 2. You see, I have about 9 inches here, so I'm going to divide it by 2, which is going to be 4.5 inches. I'm going to mark it. So this 4.5 inches is the point we are going to be using. Now I'll come to the bust point and go up by 1 inch. Now I'm going to use the curve ruler to make a curve to meet this 1 inch, from that point to meet the 1 inch. You can see what we have now, guys. You can see the curve. Now I'm going to come to this line here and measure ½ inch on both sides. I'm going to measure ½ inch here and ½ inch on the other side, and I'm going to connect it to meet that 1 inch we brought up. You see what we have after doing that? So you can see, guys, just sharpen all the edges. Because of this 1 inch we have here, guys, I'm going to be extending this line with 1 inch, because that 1 inch we are going to be cutting it off. It is the dart that we are going to be cutting off. So you extend this line with 1 inch and do the same thing on this line as well, because if you don't do this when you are joining your princess dart, you will realize that this side will be shorter than the center front, and you don't want that to happen. So you do it like this. So now after doing this, it's time to take all the body measurements. So I'm just going to be adding only 2 inches to this line. Then I'll come to the waistline, take the waist measurements divided by 4, measure what I have here, which is 2.5 inches. I'm going to be adding it and adding 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Now I'll connect the dots. After doing this, guys, you're just going to sharpen this edge, make it very curvy, the armhole curve. You can see, guys, I'm not going to be cutting the neck now. I'll be doing that when I'm sewing. Right now I'm just going to cut this out. You see what we have, guys? You see how it came out? You see how beautiful it looks? So this is it. Right now I'm going to be showing you how to join it. You can see I already iron wording to the pieces. This is the center front, and I already iron wording to the side front as well. So I'm going to bring it together like this, the right sides facing each other, and I'm just going to sew it down. So first of all, sew a straight line on this straight part. When you get to this point, guys, you're going to backstitch and you will start sewing the curve. You just keep sewing the curve till you get to the end. So guys, after doing that, you're just going to make a notch here, make a notch on this point. You see it? Now we are going to move to the other side, and for this side I'm going to start sewing from the armhole. So I'm just going to start sewing from the armhole for this side. So first of all, I'm going to sew the curve. So guys, when you get to this point again, you're going to do the same thing, you backstitch then before you sew the straight line. You also make a notch on the point. So guys, that is how to join it. You can see it is not something difficult at all. This was what I had after I was done ironing it. I have a very detailed tutorial video of how to perfectly join and iron a princess dart bustier in this channel. If you haven't seen that video, I have the link to that video in the description box. You can go there and you have the opportunity to watch the video. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. Please, if you haven't subscribed, endeavor to hit the subscribe button. That's all for this video. See you all in our next video. Bye bye.